Hello, y'all. Hope everybody had a great Christmas. My name is Reese Land, and I'll be doing this week's COVID-19 update. As always, we'll start this update by taking a look at some data. In this left column here, we have the raw numbers. And we'll first turn our attention to Georgia, taking a look at this graph here in the top middle. As of late, Georgia has been experiencing a sharp increase in newly diagnosed COVID-19 cases, and the peak we're currently experiencing resembles the giant peak we had this past summer. However, looking at this graph here in the top right, the death rate has decreased lately, so that's some good news. These trends for the most part hold true in the Augusta area. In fact, from December 6th to December 13th, the 7-day running average of the percent positive test rate in Richmond County has hovered between 14.3 and 15.3%, while the 7-day running average in Columbia County has hovered between 15% and 16.5%. So these numbers tell us that the virus is still spreading at a higher rate in our communities. In addition to these numbers, the Christmas holiday falls within the 14-day reporting window that the Georgia Department of Public Health uses, which you can see right here. So it's going to be important to pay attention to these numbers in the coming days as more cases are reported to the Georgia Department of Public Health. In any case, it's an important reminder to stay safe and responsible while we await the vaccines. Lastly, we'll take a look at some global cases here in the bottom right. Last week, I talked about the new coronavirus variants in South Africa and the United Kingdom, and I figured we could just follow up on the case numbers. And as you can see, South Africa and the United Kingdom are both still experiencing sharp increases in COVID-19 cases. Now, the UK has instituted restrictions throughout the holiday season in order to decrease the amount of new cases, while South Africa, as of today, is considering tightening restrictions that were already in place from earlier this month. So hopefully the measures taken by the two countries can decrease the rate at which we're seeing newly diagnosed COVID-19 cases. So that's the data for this week's COVID-19 update. The European Union opted to approve the use of Pfizer and BioNTech's COVID-19 vaccine following the lead of the US and the UK. On December 22nd, the European Medicines Agency recommended the use of the vaccine, and shortly thereafter, the European Commission also gave its formal approval. Distribution of the Pfizer-BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine could start as early as today for the 27 member states of the European Union. So there's some great news coming out of Europe. Now look at the story here in the top right. The Trump administration has announced that it's purchased an additional 100 million doses of the Pfizer-BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine. The agreement stipulates that 70 million of the doses will be delivered by at least June 30th, while the rest of the COVID-19 vaccines will be delivered by July 31st. So at this time, the US has ordered a total of 200 million doses of the Pfizer-BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine. And in addition to this, Moderna has also agreed to supply 200 million doses of its COVID-19 vaccine by June 2021. And both of the vaccines are being provided for free to the American public. We'll finish up with a story here in the bottom right. A federal advisory panel recommended that the next group of people to be vaccinated for COVID-19 should be individuals aged 75 years and older, and essential workers like firefighters, teachers, and grocery store workers. Now, once this is approved by the CDC director, which typically occurs once a federal advisory panel makes a recommendation, the CDC will send this new guideline to the 50 states as guidance for their vaccine plans. Now, the states are not obligated to follow the CDC's recommendations because states may have different ideas of who should be in front of the line for the COVID-19 vaccinations. But at this current time, Georgia's vaccination plan, particularly phases 1B and 1C, generally follows the current federal guidelines set out by the federal advisory panel. And of course, I'll post the link to Georgia's vaccination program plan in the video description. As always, we'll end this week's COVID-19 update with a good news story. And this one comes from our own community here in Augusta. Lily Cole, owner of the seafood catering business Chez Denise, along with her granddaughter Sierra Brown, worked together to provide Christmas gift bags to the homeless community. Despite having to temporarily shut down her catering business due to the pandemic, Cole and her granddaughter pressed on to provide some holiday cheer to the less fortunate. While they were purchasing goods for the gift bags at the store, a stranger in line with them at the cash register paid for all of the gift bags, and Cole and her granddaughter used the extra money to purchase even more Christmas gift bags. So Lily Cole, her granddaughter Sierra Brown, and the selfless stranger show us that benevolence is alive and well here in the CSRA. Here are the references for the data and articles that we discussed today. In addition, I'll also post the link to our COVID response website in the video description, where you can find more helpful resources about the COVID-19 pandemic. Also give us a follow at our Instagram at MCG COVID Response. I hope you guys have a wonderful New Year's.